We got more stuff to talk about. Hey, this is the mic, isn't it? We got more stuff to actually talk about than we can cover in one masterclass. So I hope if you guys like it, then we can keep doing stuff like this. You just can't do this so much in a school setting. So the idea is to bring you out here. We've got A-list players. I'm going to talk about that in a bit, and some great tech people. And this is what real world is supposed to feel like. So let's talk about some great performances. Here's a few. Yeah. Okay, now one up here, you might be a little surprised that I put up here. So you know who these people are. You know who this is right here. Ozzy. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll put Ozzy up here. Me and J.C. Dean, that guy right there, went to see Slash. He was opening for Ozzy. I'm a huge Slash fan. Well, we weren't even planning on staying for the Ozzy. It changed my life. He's like watching your grandpa rock out, but he was so incredible. I mean, he couldn't hit a note. He never really could, but he couldn't hit a single note, and he was up there absolutely thrashing and tearing it up. But what impressed me so much is that he gushed over the audience. He loved it. It's like, I freaking love you. I freaking love everyone. Sorry, but that's what he said. I love every one of you. And then he sprayed us with foam, and it was awesome. It was just the coolest thing ever. Okay, you know who this is? Who's this? That's Liberace. He's known as the greatest showman on earth. It's true. I mean, it's not my thing, but my God, the man was incredible. He was a pretty good pianist, but what he was good with was wow factor. Wow factor. His capes were like millions of dollars, and he was all about the show, and he was also very loving and generous to his audience. Very important. So even though he's a multi-bajillionaire, you leave with a piece of it. Pretty cool. Who's this? I'll tell you, no, it looks a little like Baz with the nose, but no, that is Maria Callas. Say it with me. Maria Callas. All right, she died just a little while ago, and her opera career was cut short for many reasons, but she did lose her voice. But she is known as one of the greatest actresses to ever live, and she was one of the greatest opera singers in the world as well. So I definitely included her in this. Now I want you to do something for me. Think of the greatest performance you've ever seen. Not the biggest, not the loudest, not the one that sang the most freaking high notes or played the fastest licks. Think of some great performances. Maybe one in particular. Okay? Just think about it. I've done this exercise with a bunch of you before. You got something in mind? Why was it so great? Just answer it in your head. Why was it so good? Not just because it was awesome. Put your finger on it. Why? What do you think? That gets most of it? It's not all of it. We're not done yet. Could have been emotional. It was sincere. It was skillful. It was orgasmic. I mean, there was just so. Have you ever seen Pink Floyd? There was so much going on. It was like, oh, I'm having a seizure. Just incredible. Relatable. Yeah? I've seen Celine twice. When you see Celine, she sings unattainable, untouchable. And in a coliseum of 20,000 people, whatever, it's so personal. Because when she sings right to you. And she's not up there just saying, hey, watch me hit this high note. You see a lot of that, don't you? Just people who have practiced the high notes, and they're like, wah! And we're supposed to be impressed. I'm sorry, I'm not moved. I'm just not moved by it anymore. There's too many people that can do that. But Celine really gives it to you. This guy, Yeah. It's intimate. Maybe it wasn't a big performance at all. Maybe it was just a little girl at church sitting on a stool that just did it for you. Because I've sure seen that, where it was skillfully done, but it was so pure. There was something so beautiful about it. Great songwriting. Bob Dylan can't sing, but he's got some songs. Some amazing songs. Nobody wants to sound like that, but his lyric writing was pretty incredible. It was just plain exciting, and it made you feel like you're going to have a connection. Just something different. That's pretty cool. You know, somebody cares enough to try to work hard to bring you, the audience, the listener, something different, something that hasn't been done and done and done over and over again. Now, here's the big question. What is keeping you from being someone's greatest performance they've ever seen? Just think about it for a minute. You got it? Inexperience? We're going to work on some of that tonight with some of you. That's a big one. Anybody? Come on. I'm insecure about some things as well because I know what I'm good at, but I also know what I'm not good at. And sometimes I'm paid to do some things that I'm not good at. And I go in the studio and I'm like, oh God, I can do this one time and that's all I got. So that's pretty scary. Not relatable. This is a really tough one. Even at Belmont, you know, you see some great voices, but they go kind of unnoticed because there's this huge wall right in front of them, and they don't have the ability to reach through it, right? It's just not relatable. One thing that's keeping you from being someone's greatest moment is you don't have any songs. You don't want to write songs. Well, you know what? That used to be just fine, but the industry has changed so much. That's really not so much the case anymore. They're expecting their artists to be able to write. And I personally am a fan of people who can't write should not write songs. I think it's just fine. But you really should be trying to write up. You know what write up means? If you're here, you can't write here, but you can probably write here. And then you can write here, and then you can write here. That's writing up, right? With somebody who's just a little bit above you. But that song thing, man, that might be up there close to number one on the reasons why that you are currently not able to be someone's greatest moment. That's the sad one. Just don't have it. You got the look, you got the voice, but you don't have the X. Raise your hand. What does that mean? Anybody know what that means? What if you just don't have it? Dylan, what does it mean when you just don't have it?
You just don't have the X factor?
You just don't have it.
You just don't have the thing that's going to make that person, that audience member, look at you as something other than just another guy that's singing, just another girl that's singing.
Yeah, there's just nothing special about it. Too many people can do it, you know? What else? What else is it to just simply not have it? Speak.
You drive.
Whoa!
If
Speak.
If you wake up in the morning and your first thought or last thought of the night isn't what can I do tomorrow that's going to bring me further in my career, bring me further in my talent, bring me further in my craft, then you really don't have it because you don't have the drive to get you there.
Don't get that? It's about the drive. I would say a lot of you are paying Belmont tuition just as a really expensive camp. You really are. You really are. Because you're not doing it. Hey, I'm going to yell at you. It's too expensive not to, right? So I'm going to be honest with a bunch of you, I would say even the majority, don't have the drive. I don't see people, as much as I wish I did, out there trying to seek out the venues, trying to seek out the performance opportunities. There aren't many. There really aren't many. So you've got to go out there and you've got to fight for them. Here's a funny cat. All right. All right, so we got to talk about this for a minute. I want to get back to later about the not just, you just don't have it type of thing, because I am convinced that most of that just don't have it can be fixed. A lot of that can be patched up, because I've seen plenty of people with no personalities, John Mayer, become really good, relatable performers, really good. And when you see John Mayer live, you meet with some of him now. He's very generous. He even loves and gushes over his audience and makes you feel like you're a part of it. I want to talk about, spend a couple of minutes on this. We have to rush through because we got too much to cover. What to do when things go, and I have to push this button for the word wrong to come up. So, that's a big part of what we're going to do up here. When things go wrong, what happens if the power goes out? What happens if that happens? Because that happens to everybody, right? Who's that happen to? Anybody? Right! Yeah, it's a very common thing. And it's just not that big of a deal. The audience is cool. If you don't handle it well, then everybody is nervous for you. The magic's gone. But if you handle it like a champ, it can be funny. It can be a fine moment to where it just means nothing and it goes right by people. So check this out. Yeah, it was totally real. No, we'll talk later. So anyway, the point of that is you make it work. Some of these celebrities handled it well. Some did not necessarily. My favorite, honestly, is Gaga. She's just a freak, dude. I mean, she falls down on her back, and she goes, "Ouch!" and crawls on her knees and keeps singing extremely well while her piano is on fire. It's okay. Nothing to see here. It's just incredible. So you make it work. Okay. Think through scenarios. What could go wrong? Your band could absolutely suck. The intro could be off, completely off. You don't know where to come in. What do? You come in like a boss, and you hope the band follows you. If they don't, then you wait until they get back on, and you come back in. And if it's bad enough, you can say, "Hey, rehearse at home, let's start again." And it's a funny moment, and you just start the tune again, if you have to. But I say just come in like a boss. If the chord falls off your mic, what do? You reach down, you pick it up, you laugh it off, and you keep going. What other horrible things happen on stage? Falling happens. I have done it. I did it in Buenos Aires in front of 10,000 people. It hurt bad, really bad. I had a gospel choir of 300 behind me. And it's like not like I could just stop singing. So you just keep going. I sat there on the steps. I pretend like I wasn't bleeding. And you keep going, and we finish the show. And it wasn't the last song either. I mean, I had a while to go. So you just do it. I had danced. I do hip-hop as well. I toured for a while doing that. And I had danced complete shows on sprained ankles. You do it. You just do what you have to do. What else happens? Rihanna walked off stage to throw up one time and came back on and finished her show. Yeah?
I don't don't know who all was at Country Showcase, but if you didn't notice, I unplugged my lead guitar player's pedal board right before his big solo in our ballad.
That was so stupid.
And so my bass player walked over to our other guitar player and played here, getting ready to say, Ryan, go, Ryan, go. Matt dove down and scrambled, trying to figure out what I had done.
Yeah.
And he fixed it just in time, and everybody went back to playing like we were playing.
That's right, you just play it off like it doesn't happen. I also recommend that you have some shtick pre-planned in your head. Things that can go wrong. If you have to kill time on stage, what do? Look embarrassed? Say, anybody have a joke? No, you have some shtick in your head. You walk out in the audience and you say, what's your name?
Tim.
Where are you from, Tim?
Chicago.
Oh, what do you do for a living?
I go to college.
You go to college? Okay, cool. Pretty girl behind you. Have you met her yet? What's your
I
name?
did. She's fine.
Rebecca.
What are you going to be when you grow up, Rebecca?
I'm gonna be a singer.
You need a duet partner?
Yeah?
Okay, right. So you look people up. That's one good thing to do. You guys ready yet? Hope that they're ready. If not, you keep going. So play through the shtick in your head so that you have some go-tos. There's always some go-tos that you have so you are never taken off guard and you never make the audience feel nervous for you. More on that later. I love this picture a lot. Look at that. There's so much going on here. You know who this is? Did you see this performance?
Yes.
She was holding up a muscle man with one arm and holding a mic with the other arm and sounded like a champ. Spinning around 360 degrees, 100 miles an hour, singing very well. And you could hear when she hit the ropes, her voice would pop a little bit. Incredible. Songs are merely vehicles to take your audience from moment to moment. Honest time. How many junior, senior recitals have you been to where nothing happened? Nothing happened. That was 10 really good songs. You sang really well. Nothing happened. Right? Making moments. Every song has got to have a moment. If it doesn't, why are you singing the song? If you don't relate to it, why are you singing it? If there's nothing for the audience to grasp onto or to enjoy, rather than a pretty voice, why are you singing it? The songs are just vehicles to take your audience from moment to moment, right? 2 elements of a moment. I think I have to push this a few times. There we go. Do something that's unexpected. Cool? Beyond expectations. There's a bunch of things that can make a moment, but I think that this boils down to basically 2 things. Do something that's unexpected. Do something that is beyond the audience's expectations. And check this out. Some of the most powerful moments happen when something goes wrong. Let me tell you something. One of the most amazing things I ever saw was actually here in town. One of my buddies named Levi Chris, he won the Tony Award for Best Male Performance in $1 Million Quartet. He played Jerry Lee Lewis. He's a Belmont guy. He did a show in Nashville. It was just him and the piano. He's an absolutely beastly entertainer. So, literally halfway through the show, maybe 4 songs in, the power goes out in the entire grid of Nashville. It was at Radio Cafe, I think. I don't think it exists anymore. So here's what he did. He didn't miss a beat. The waitresses lit candles. He took a bar stool and he took it to a table in the middle of the room and he set it up on there. I mean, immediately. Power goes off, he grabs a bar stool, sets it on top of a table. He sits on it and he says, "What do you want to hear?" The people went crazy. He entertained us for 45 minutes singing a cappella. It was unbelievable. Nobody was bored. Because he could. Get it? Because he could. Now, if you're not one of the kind that can, we better figure that out. Why do you need a full band? Why do you need any instrumentation to entertain people? You don't have that kind of personality? Okay, well, we might want to work on that. And then we get this guy. Okay, now this is where we're going to have to talk to the band, and we're going to get to some music in just a second. We're going to talk about why your band hates you. You can already figure this out, because I yell at all of my singers about this constantly, and I'm going to go ahead and put all 5 of them up there, and they're tiny. Oh, they really are tiny. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I have to tell you what they say. I'll start from the bottom up. You can't give cues. They can't trust you. And that's one of the main things while I'm doing this seminar with the live band, so that you can earn their trust and make them believe that you can get the cutoffs. You do know when to come in. If you want the guitar to go into a solo, you know how to do that with confidence, and you know where to do it tastefully. You know how the song ends. You know how long the instrumental is. If you don't know those things, you really don't know the song, do you? How many times have you seen chick singer look at the drummer until it's time to come in? Because she doesn't know when to come in. And then when the song's over, she looks at the drummer to cut off. Why aren't you cutting it off? You should be cutting it off. The next one says, I don't know. You think print, okay. This is not a chart. It's not a chart. If you print it off the internet, it's not a chart. Nothing on the internet is a chart. Very rarely will you ever find an actual chart. You know what this is? This says cable on 3. And then it gives very wrong chords over random words that may or may not be where the chord actually falls. It doesn't tell the instrumentalist much of anything. They still have to listen to it and basically memorize it, and this is just something that can sort of keep them on track. But if you haven't figured it out, the people who post these online don't really play instruments. They might be able to play Hillsong worship music with the 4 chords, but that's it. If there's a secondary dominant, forget it. They're going to say F. It's going to be the most generic, rounded off thing. MusicNotes.com is a wonderful resource. But this is not a chart. You cannot hand this to your band. You've got to give them real charts. So that is another reason why your band hates you. You don't really know the song, and that kind of is what I was talking about. What key's your song in? I don't know. Where does the instrumental go? How do you want this cut off to go? I don't know. You gotta really know the song. Number 2, you think they should always play for you for free. I get a lot of that. Now, in a college setting, we're all learning together. And of course, a lot of people just want to play, and that's really important. Outside of college, unless it is a band, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's a band, like the band has a name, that's cool. But if it's Tim, and you want 5 guys to play, you got to pay them. Because what's in it for them? Nothing. Nothing is in it for them. So, you got to pay people. If you're broke as a joke, well, you talk that through with them. If they still want to play for you and you can bring them beer and pizza, that's really good too. Number 1 reason, you don't know what you want. Right? You want the song to be like the recording? Okay, that's cool. Well, what sounds do you want? How do you want the kick pattern? How do you want the hat to go? What do you really want? This may sound like really complicated stuff to most of you who haven't really studied this very much, but here's what you do. You listen to the song one time through and you listen to nothing except the kick. Don't listen to anything except the kick. Listen to it again. Don't listen to anything except the bass pattern. You're not going to learn it, but at least you're going to have a clue. Where does the bass come in? First verse? Just in the chorus? Where does it come in? Cool? Understand, that crap happens a whole lot. Be aware that it's there. Never let your sound man do this. Ready? What the hell is that? Why do they do that? Never, ever do that. So if you see if that's the case, before you even start your set immediately, unwrap that stuff, pop the mic back on there. Take a look at the stand. Is it a rolly? Is it a squeezy? Is it a poppy? How do you get it out? This one's one that you have to pop out like this. So here is the technique. I learned this in Vietnam. Just like this. Put it right here and check it out. Bam. It will never catch. Never catch. I've got the wire right here. You don't even have to look at it. Bam. See it? Look at it. Look at it again. Look at it again. Look at it again. See that? I'm pushing with my bird finger right here, and I go bam. That ensures that this little XLR does not come out because I'm pushing it out right there. So, bam. So I encourage you to practice that. Now, when you want to take the mic out of the stand, this is a lousy way to do it. Because suddenly there's this wall in front of you. On a song like Chain of Fools or any of the ones that I've chosen for tonight, use this as a prop. So if you want to come out of it, this looks a lot cooler and in control, right? It gives us a cool angle. It's a photo op. Don't keep it here. This looks terribly insecure. Think about photo ops, right? We want cool angles. So give the people this I mean, give the people this, lean into it. When you are ready to let go of the mic stand, just like that, and you do not let go of it when it's janky. You wait till it's steady on the floor and you step through it. Now, another way to do this, if you want it out of the way, I would do it just like this. You're opening the door and you're setting it aside because this looks like there's some wall in between you and the audience. So just a little something to notice. When you're walking across the stage and when you're doing this song up here, I encourage you to interact with all of the boys up here. These are pros. I've worked with every one of them. If you throw energy on this guy, he's going to throw more back than you can handle. If he can handle it, every one of them can. Reed will scare you. So, I mean, they're not scared of you going up there and making some music with them and trying to make a moment with them. Right? Cool? You like it?
Yeah.
You get what we're doing here? Yeah. So we need to do this more, right? We really, really do. Now, any quick comments or questions before we get out of here?
When are we coming back?
Well, it cost me about $1,000 to pop, so give me a minute.
Every week.
Oh,
Come write
please.
stuff down on these if you want to. I'll put them right here on the stage.
That would be really wise to do that. I love all of you. You can also get the free ebook on VocalEdge.com. All that stuff is free, so please take advantage of it. If you want to pick some chairs up and stack us for them, that would be nice too. I love you all. Bye. Hey, what's up? Thanks for checking out part 1 of this VocalEdge Masterclass. Check out the rest by clicking on these magical squares. This is the good stuff, so don't miss it. Also, please hit the pretty subscribe button because it makes me feel nice, and let us know what you found useful by talking to us in the comments section. I love you all, and I will see you soon.